Hi everybody, my name's TSW. In this video, I'm going to be showing you a better way, in my opinion, to show log information for your guild and your raid. So a lot of the time people will go over here, find your guild, calendar, look at the raid that you're in. Oh look, here's all the bosses, and it can be really clunky and time consuming to find the information that's relevant to you and your raid straight away. Like gear, for example, you have to scroll down and look at everybody's gear, blah, 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 blah. And trinket usage, it can be a bit time consuming, right? And you kind of need to know your way around and navigating Warcraft Logs. So I found this Discord, and it's so funny because my friend from 8 years ago playing private servers actually makes this tool, Shariva. So it's been great seeing Shariva again and seeing that he's doing some awesome work. So during Sunwell progression and tier 6 farming on Archangel Phoenix private server, he was raid leader, I was main tank. How cool is that? Anyway, our paths cross once again. So he's made this really cool tool. Let's get to the tool quickly. So the output is this. So I'll show you a little bit on how to get the spreadsheet to work yourself, but there are some really good how-to videos that Shariva's made, which tell you exactly what to do. So don't listen to me how to use the spreadsheet. Listen to him. He does a much better job. But what it does is gives you, there are two spreadsheets. One is CLA for combat log analytics, and the second is RPB for role performance breakdown. Now these are very, very useful. I think this is great, and it's really going to help raids and guilds out there who are just wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page and where people can improve. This is a really good resource for that. So straight away, the CLA, I can never remember the acronyms, Combat Log Analytics is this one. So you can see the gear. So this is just a split raid from my guild. You can see people aren't fully enchanted or gemmed. We've got Spell Pen in the cloak. We've got Honored Rep shoulder enchant, green gems, no enchants, etc, etc. There's a key that breaks it down here, what they all mean, and you can see all the items that people haven't got properly enchanted. Cool, easy. The alternative is on Warcraft Logs is to like look at what item's this? Oh, does it have the enchant? Oh, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, and it takes ages, right? This does it really quickly. It also shows you all the gear at once. Again, it's similar to Warcraft Logs here. You can kind of see what's going on. Consumables, this is really nice. You can see who's using weapon enhancements, scrolls, food, flasks, elixirs in a really nice, convenient way. So, hey darling here used nothing. He was only in on like 2 trash packs on a alt just to help whilst we waited for someone to get summoned. That's fine. But you can see the breakdown of everybody else. You can see me here. I missed a sharpening stone for a portion, and I wasn't scrolled the entire time, but my food buff was good, so yeah. Anyway, and you can go down to drums as well. This is really interesting. So it not only shows you the quantity of drums cast by the leatherworker, but also in the brackets, the average of how many players gained the drums buff from that drummer. So you can see here we've got a rogue doing reasonably well. I think 3.1 as an average in his party receiving the drums buff. But then you have one of our hunters with 1.29. So they're drumming less frequently than the rogue. And they're also only drumming 1.29 players as an average over the course of the raid, which, you know, it's much more difficult to drum the whole party as a range player. I appreciate that. But it's still interesting to look at. And if you are able to see this information clearly, it's something to work on for next raid. And you can compare the two spreadsheets and see who's improving and how. Really interesting. At least I think so, and I'm sharing this with you guys because I think it's interesting for you as well. Also, there's a validate tab here that shows you if you're doing a speed run, if you have the correct amount of trash, and if you're killing extra mobs. So, for example, we didn't kill enough Greyheart Tidecallers, but we killed exact quantities of a lot of the mobs. And then a little extra here and there. So this is something that you can optimize as well if you're wanting to get some timed logs for your raid. Next, we have the breakdown of the fight duration. I should probably move my camera over here. There you go, that might be better. So you can see the duration of the fights, and the most important thing, in my opinion, is the idle time, which is quite important. So just when you're not doing anything. So that's cool. Okay, so that's the class log analytics sheet, and then we have the role performance breakdown, which is this one. So this is the output for my guild, the raid we did yesterday. So we see here we have casters, a breakdown of what they're doing, and then the casts themselves, so what they are specifically doing. Okay, and then again for healers, physical, and tanks. So go back to the casters. We can see what 2-minute cooldown trinkets they're using. So that's interesting. We've got some people swapping between 3 trinkets, which I really like. You know, you have a trinket that has an on use the trinket. Nice. Now it's got a 2-minute cooldown. So you can swap in another trinket and use that because it's only a 30-second cooldown once you equip the trinket to use the on use. So you can throw in more on uses there. So that's nice to see. And then ratios as well. What's really easy is just to have a look at and compare same classes, because then it's a lot easier to see variation because some classes will play slightly differently or want to hold their cooldowns. If, you know, if they've got 3-minute cooldowns versus 2-minute cooldowns, it can get, you know, awkward and not so streamlined, you know. So you can see drums, casts as well, potion usage, runes, potions, health stones. Look at all this information together, see if anyone's slacking in any major capacity. Temporary weapon enchant uptime. So you see someone here with not 100%, and we won't talk about that. And then we've also got engineering. So we've got 1 engineer here, which is cool. Average amount of targets for the Goblin Sapper Charge and Super Sapper Charge, as well as damage taken, which is always interesting. So Whirlwind from Leotheris. We've got Adelaide taking 75,000 Whirlwind damage. Okay. Scalding Water, just something to be mindful of, 22k. Like, it's not the end of the world taking 22k damage, but you want to be taking as little as possible, obviously. Flame Patch, Flame Strike, falling damage, Spout, 3,000 damage from Spout. He didn't die, so I suppose that's fine. And also some of these are hyperlinked, so damage to hostile players. You can have a look and click the link, and then it sends this request through Warcraft Logs, and you can see that Ayep, a elemental shaman, did a couple of chain lightnings, and this will be on my controlled people. So this will be Kel'Thas at the end of the fight, and this is probably, I don't know, Vash maybe on the my controls. So, you know, oh look, someone did damage they shouldn't have done. Well, it's chain lightning, and it's probably at the end of the cast, no action time to recast a new thing, and no one died. It's only 3.8k damage total, not a big deal. Okay, so some things here you might see flagged as being, oh no, what are these people doing? But you just need to just dive into it, have a little look, and make sure, because a lot of the time it's not a big deal. Okay, it's just, you know, there are 2 sides to every story. Sometimes you'll see someone do something that looks like a mistake, but then if you dive into it, it's like, well, actually, it's not that big of a deal, especially if it's only like that chain lightning example, 3.8k. It's not a big deal. We've got some conflags going out, some static charges. Again, static charge isn't too bad. The conflag shouldn't really be happening unless you're assigned to be the conflag person. And then you see a total here at the bottom. And then we've got avoidable debuffs. So this is Nether Vapor, which is the reduced health debuff from Kel'Thas during the flying phase. And then the silence from Theladred. And then interrupts. Interrupts always nice to have a look at. Just people who are being mindful of the raid, taking damage. And then we have the casters' casts. So this is really interesting. You can see what ranks people are using. You know, like rejuvenation. We've got, so these are both Moonkins? Yes, because they're casters. Derp. Okay, so they're not doing much healing. But they should be doing lots of Starfires. So 900 Starfires, different kind of Wraths. We had a Hibernate here. I was Hibernated when I got my controlled. I think that's where the Hibernate comes from. Like, it's really interesting just to see particularly if you do it immediately after the raid or the day after, you still have you can remember, or if you recorded the VOD, like streaming it or something, you can just, or it's easy if you remember it here, because I got mind controlled and I got hibernated, and then I needed to call for a dispel because I wasn't dispelled as soon as my hibernate and my mind control ended. So it's just interesting to know that Kratos was the guy who hibernated me. So that's interesting. It just gives you more information, you know, particularly if you're an officer in a guild and you have new trials in, it's super easy just to check, are they using their trinkets? Are they consuming? Are they scrolling? Do they have wizard oil? You know, it's just so easy, I think, using the spreadsheet just to have a look at the raid as a whole. And again, compare people, because it's all very well looking at, oh, go to the logs, check out the new trial, check if they're using consumes and stuff. They're not, okay, or they're not using as many as I want them to, kick. Where here, it's really easy, I think, to just compare all the warlocks together, for example. If we scroll all the way to the right, move my webcam again, and just see the warlocks as a whole, and see, because if none of the warlocks are using big consumes or whatever, then you can't really expect the new trial to be going above and beyond or whatever. You know, it's good to compare your warlocks across the board, I suppose. And, you know, use this spreadsheet in any way you see fit, really. And you can scroll down, see the lusts. There's so much information here. It's really, really good. Particularly if you have a good overall knowledge base for many roles in WoW. For example, you know, if I mostly tank and I've played a little bit of a few specs here and there, you know, I don't know everything and I can't call out everybody for everything, but it's good if you have like officers or class leaders to look at this and have a good overall understanding about what should and shouldn't be happening for the roles in the raid. And you can, you know, just tell people or show people. Like, what's really good is if you just have this shared to the guild or the raid as a whole, and people can have a look and investigate against one another. So, you know, someone might have experience playing a Moonkin or something, even though they're playing a Shadow Priest, and be able to help out the Moonkins or something. Like, oh, that looks a bit weird, and just, you know, come together and help each other out. You know, that's, I think, where you know, it's all very good just seeing all these numbers. They don't really mean much on their own, but if you're expecting to see different numbers, that's when you can start to have a conversation. So, move the webcam again. Looking at the healers this time. And you can just kind of see like the crit chance. They've got no Wind Fury attacks, as to be expected. Trinket usage and racials, interesting. We've got Berserking, we've got Blood Fury. We've got some people not using any racials. Well, what race are they? Interesting to look at as well. We've got one drummer. We've got not 100% weapon oil on everybody. One thing that's worth looking at is Kel'Thas. Seeing if people are using weapon enchants on that boss or enhancements, you know, oil and sharpening stone and stuff. Powered shield, taking whirlwind from Leotheris, 38k. Flame strike. Again, we've got these hyperlinks to look at friendly fire. Let's have a quick look. Almost 20k damage friendly fire here. Have a quick look, and we can see static charge and conflag. Okay, and we can keep going down. See the total of avoidable damage. Now, as a tank, it can be very hard to have this avoidable damage taken be very low. Again, we've got some healers interrupting, which is nice to see as well. And then the breakdown of their casts, so we can see what ranks they're using. We can see, kind of get a good idea of what they're doing. And again, if you have any kind of expectation or compare this to other guilds or other raids, maybe you've got an alt raid and a main raid, you can compare the two and see if there are any improvements that can be made. Got Paladin over here. We can see the blessings as well, which is interesting. But this is only bosses as well. When you're making the sheet, you can choose if you want it to be bosses and trash, or, you know, exclude wipes and that kind of thing. That's interesting. We've got priests. We've got, oh, this was a disc priest, so he shouldn't be here. Oh no, he is here. He is a healer. I'm sorry, I thought I was still in the caster one. So these are both healing priests. One of them was only in for one boss though, so that's why his numbers might look a little bit low. Okie dokie. And then we've got shamans as well. 2 rested shamans. We can see the breakdown here. Just compare the two. Like, it's really easy when you have 2 of the same class spec. Let's move the webcam back over here. And then we've got physical. Again, battle shout, commanding shout. You can see the crit chance there. Extra attacks through wind fury. That's cool. And then again with the trinkets and racials. Okay, I think you get the idea. And then the casts of them specifically. And then the tanks as well. Warrior, Paladin, and myself playing Druid. All very interesting. Interrupts, that's cool. Okay, and then again, the casts of the tanks themselves. See what they're doing. Really, really cool. And it's just a nice way to get to know who's performing well and doing what in the raid. I think it's easier to look at it than to... I mean, some things Warcraft Logs does really well. And everything that you see in the spreadsheet can be found in Warcraft Logs. It's just a different way of looking at it. The spreadsheet relies on Warcraft Logs for the information. So I'm not taking anything away from Warcraft Logs. It's just a different way of visualizing it, okay? And I think it's really interesting to see. And it's just a clean way of seeing the information. So if you do want to do this yourself, I'll link the Discord in the description. And you can check out the how-to videos. And it's really straightforward. I mean, if I can figure it out in, 10 minutes, I hope all of you can as well. And yeah, you just fill in these fields here. Like the instructions are all written out here. And you can set up a Discord bot. It's so easy. I didn't realize how easy it is to set up a Discord bot. You literally just click two clicks, and you can export the spreadsheet link to a Discord bot. That's so easy. Oh my goodness. And then you can just see this information for your raid. Start having a discussion amongst officers or amongst the raid, and yeah, try and improve. I hope this has been informative and useful. If you enjoyed it and you think this is good content, please thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I've been TSW. Have a good day. Bye.